the property taxes have gone through the roof, and a lot of it has to do with not just the county side, but the school district side. We've
Yeah.
had, I want to say, almost 3 referendums in a row.
What do you got for me? Yeah, what do you got for me? Baby, would you stand and fight?
Hi, thanks for checking out this episode. If you like this content, then please visit cooleyconservatives.com and click the Buy Me a Coffee option to leave us a tip. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Truth Social. Oh, and you can get our content in your email inbox once a week by subscribing at cooleyconservatives.com. Thanks again. Take care and God bless.
Well, I have Mr. Dave Estenson, chairman of the Trempealeau County Republican Party. Welcome to the Speakeasy. Hopefully this time, no technical difficulties. But
Yes,
I know
sir.
we've been working on this for a couple of weeks now, trying to make this happen. So let's start off with this. Your origin story. I know we've talked about it in the past, like when we were at the GOP convention. But tell the audience just a little bit background. What got you where you are today?
Sure. Well, again, thanks for having me, and I'm glad we could finally make it work. It's always great talking to you. So
Thanks.
I'm glad we're able to do this. So anyway, let's see. I have had quite the ups and downs in my origin story. I come from very humble beginnings, small town, born and raised in Whitehall, actually fifth generation Whitehall
Wow.
area resident. Yeah, my family came over from Norway in the late 1800s. So settled here, actually about 2 miles as the crow flies, where I'm living right now. But
Oh, wow.
I've been
Your roots are deep in this
my
area then.
roots are deep, yes, and I always seem to find my way back. I mean, I'm like that old Johnny Cash song. I've been everywhere, you know.
Yes, good song.
So yeah, I grew up here milking cows in high school, and I didn't necessarily take the same path as some of my other classmates. I actually got into rodeo just after high school. Didn't grow up on riding horses or anything. So I had a buddy that was riding broncs, and bull riding was just seemed like the thing to do. So I ended up
You are a
getting.
braver person than
Yeah.
me.
Well, I mean, brave is one way to put it, I guess. I mean, there's a fine line between bravery and stupidity, but young and dumb.
Good point. Good point.
Um, so I traveled just for the 3 years after high school. I traveled rodeo and riding bulls all over the country. Drove truck for a little bit, and then I decided that it was time to settle down. I was kind of sick of taking a shower before or after work. It was time to take a shower before work.
Yeah.
Um, so I followed my dad's footsteps, and I went into law enforcement school. My dad was the chief of police in Whitehall when I was growing up. So I followed his footsteps, went into law enforcement school, and started a law enforcement career. I did 6 years in this as a police officer in the city of Osseo, and then I met my wife, and she was just coming out of college for law enforcement, and she got a job with the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office up in Minnesota. I don't know. I knew there was something special about her, so I followed her up to Minnesota. So I did. I worked for 6 years with the Wright County Sheriff's Office up in Buffalo, Minnesota,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, loved every bit of it. Unfortunately, that was 13 years ago now is when I decided to leave law enforcement. I had an opportunity to get back into the trucking industry on the ownership side. Before I was just a driver. I drove for somebody, for a buddy of mine actually. But I had a chance to be on the ownership side, and I started to see that the climate towards law enforcement and the attitudes towards law enforcement were going downhill fast. This was shortly after Barack Obama's first year in office, and the incident in Massachusetts, Cambridge. with that professor. And I remember vividly him saying, well, I don't know all the facts, but obviously the police acted stupidly. And we had never heard that. We have never up until that time, we had never heard anything close to that from the presidential podium. And I knew that we were going to be in for a rough ride. So I think it was a couple of years after that when it was right at the second presidential race. So 2012, end of 2012, I decided I had a chance to get into the trucking industry, like I said, and I decided to go full time. So I retired. I took out my retirement. I had bought a truck before I retired. I retired, and then I took my retirement out and invested that into a second truck, and with the intent of building it up. So I spent 12 years building it up. I got to as big as 5 over-the-road semi-trucks. I had 4 employees. Life was great. It was hard being away from. I always said I liked traveling, but I hated being gone from the family. I have a wife and 2 young daughters. Right now they're 14 and 12. But I mean, my wife was pregnant when I left law enforcement. So
that's hard.
Talk about maybe not quite so good of financial strategy, leaving a secure government job to start your own business. But when Maddie was born, I think it was a day and a half later, I was on my way to California with a load because we had to keep going. We didn't make any money if the wheels weren't rolling, and she was going to spend some time at home, and her parents, my parents were helping, and I just went. So no time off, but
that's kind of the way I grew up too. My dad was a truck driver as well, so
perfect.
It was kind of Sunday night, Monday morning.
Yep.
Dad was gone until Thursday, kind of things.
Yep, exactly. So I did that for the last 12 years, and unfortunately, last summer of 2024, I almost made it. I almost made it through the valley. But the valley we saw last year in the trucking industry was too much to overcome. Started in about May, and there's always a slump in the trucking industry on presidential years. Always a slump. And if you can make it through the election, it comes back up. It's a cycle. Nobody knows what's going to happen. It doesn't matter who wins, to be honest with you. It's just once that decision is made,
it's that unknown
things start flowing.
Period.
Yes. Well, I couldn't quite make it. I had never seen a slump that bad. We were paying for fuel where the rates usually, rates and fuel prices shadow each other. When one goes up, the other one goes up. One goes down, the other one goes down. This one, it went so bad. The fuel was still high. Like we were making $3.50 a mile. And all of a sudden we were lucky to be making $1.80 a mile. In the matter of about 3 months. And, I paid my guys on percentage. So when the trucks didn't make money, they didn't make money. And I lost my top 2 earners in 2 weeks. And it was just too much to overcome. So I had to pack it in. Yep. Had to pack it in.
That's heartbreaking.
It was. I had planned on building that up. And having that as that was my retirement plan because my plan was managing from home, right? Build it up enough that I could manage it from home and then I'd be home. And I could just never make it past that step. Right? There was that ceiling of about 5 trucks and I just couldn't get past it. And then it just snowballed. So it was perfect storm, but hey, God has a plan. And it's worked out, I am now as soon as the trucking operation folded up, I made the decision to fold it up. Literally the next day, I got a phone call from I don't know. Some of you may know Leslie at RPW. She was working in the field organization department. She was the director of the grassroots stuff. and
Yep.
she said, "Hey, we're ramping up for the fall general, and you know how to campaign." Oh, I forgot to mention I ran for state senate in
I was going to
2022.
say, you
Yep.
left that out.
I missed that. Yeah. She said, you definitely know how to campaign. I mean, for those of you who don't know, I ran for state senate in District 31, which was District 31.
Yep, just to the north of
And
us here in
just
the
to the north.
32nd.
Yep. And I was going up against Jeff Smith, and that was the year. It was in 22. That was the year it was supposed to be a red wave. That never happened.
Right.
And no incumbents were overturned, but I was the closest. Out of 77,000 total votes, I lost by 697 when it was all said and done.
Another heartbreaker.
Yep, it was. I was the closest in the state to overturning an incumbent Democrat.
Wow.
And yeah, so that was a heartbreaker. So anyway, in 24, and I came out of nowhere because I knocked doors. I know how to work, right?
Yeah.
I worked my tail off. I mean, I calculated it. I went 4.2 million steps. So I had my little watch on as we were
right on.
going. Yeah, it was over 500 miles walking, knocking doors. So
Nice.
anyone thinking about running for office, that's what you need to do. Is you have to get out there. You can't stay on social media, and you can't rely on mailers and friends and whatever. You have to meet people where they're at, and that's at their house. So anyway, I got the phone call after the trucking business went down. I worked for the Trump campaign in the Eau Claire area, and worked primarily with the college Republicans up there, and we had a blast. Increased Republican vote on the UW Eau Claire campus by over 100%.
Nice
And
work.
yeah, I mean, we still got shellacked when it came down to it, but I'm taking that little bit of a win of doubling the vote from the couple of years prior. So,
Well, and
so yeah.
you focused a lot around the UW campus. How much impact do you think was Charlie Kirk's organization for that area?
There really wasn't much in the area at the time. At that time, yeah, they did not have a big presence there at the time. No, unfortunately.
I kind of noticed that too around here. There was a couple of people that were doing TP USA stuff.
Yep.
But it wasn't like as large as you would expect, but
Right.
it did have an impact.
Oh, for sure.
I remember from 2016 to 2024,
Yeah.
Trump's vote went up dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the 20s, I think, maybe the teens, into the 2016, and he was almost at 50% for some of those wards in the campus area. Just in the last
absolutely.
election. And that was tremendous improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the college Republicans, they worked their butts off up there, tabling every day. And
Well, you had Tatiana up there, right?
correct.
I've had her on here as a guest.
Have you?
and
Okay,
she's
yeah,
amazing.
she's great. Yeah,
What
she is
an
great.
amazing young woman.
Yep, we've worked really hard together, really well together with that whole group up there. That whole group. The kids started calling me Uncle Dave. So
Nice.
it's been a lot of fun. One of the young ladies introduced her boyfriend to me at the Charlie Kirk vigil, and I said, "Yep." She goes, "This is Dave." I'm like, "Yep, I'm her uncle." And he's like, "Oh." They all started laughing.
That's awesome. So
Yep.
how does Trempealeau County look? I know we got the spring election coming up, and it's
Yeah.
just around the corner. I was actually just talking about it yesterday on my podcast. Like,
Sure.
we're going to blink, and it's going to be time to start getting nomination papers.
I know it. We are looking really good. We have a big push for taking out some of our most ardent, progressive county board members up here, and
Nice.
we've got a really good shot at doing that. We've got several school board candidates that are going to be running, And yeah, we've got some great county board. That's mainly our focus this year, is because the county board really has kind of gotten away from us. In 2021, we made a push and we ran 19 candidates between county board members and school board members. We got 11 of them elected.
Oh man, that's
Around
awesome.
Yeah. And some of them didn't quite know what they were getting into, and we're also younger. I mean, the bad thing about the county board position is it really is someone. It's more suited for someone who's either retired or owns their own business. It's not. It's very difficult for someone who works during the day and or has a young family. And that's what we had. We thought we could make it work, and it didn't help that the established county board members weren't very accommodating in changing meeting times and that sort of thing either.
Right.
But yeah, the election went great, and now it's kind of slipped away a little bit, and we're having all kinds of issues up here with a hired county administrator, and spending lots of money and demanding all kinds of raises. So it's definitely an issue that people are paying attention to up here. So we're definitely using that as one of our campaign issues, and people are motivated. They don't like what's going on.
Well, and I think that's a great point. And I was trying to make the case yesterday. Last week, we learned in La Crosse County, the supervisors were talking about some surprises that Supervisor Mike Baroni brought up, and it's interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see if it's bad enough yet. Is the way I was putting it.
Yeah.
Because we got so many people who talk about things and they show up for social events, but is it bad enough yet for someone to actually put their name on a ballot and help us make change? Get rid of some of the corruption that's going on in there and get some good people in there. That's the big question. And I feel like I had to put my dad voice on in this podcast. Like, people, it's time to get off of your couch and do something.
Yes, exactly. Everyone loves to sit behind the scenes and complain. But then when it comes, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, I don't know. Somebody else will have to do that. But it's not right. Well, let's go.
Make it right.
Come on.
Make it right.
Yes. And that's what we're here to do.
The more people I talk to have that same attitude of like, now is the time to take action.
Yeah.
We're winning. I don't know if you've noticed it, but the Democrats are in desperation mode right now.
Absolutely. They are on their heels. They are embracing the 20% of every 80-20 issue.
Yep.
I mean, they're killing themselves, and all we have to do is just not be crazy, and we win.
Yeah.
Get out there and do the work.
Some good people up against them, and you don't even have to say anything because they destroy themselves.
Exactly. Well, and that's what we're here to do as the Republican Party. Like the Republican Party of Trempealeau County, we get a good candidate, we're going to go knock all the doors that we can for them. I mean,
you have the framework you put in place for them.
Yes, exactly. And I'll knock all the doors myself. I mean, that's just what I do. I mean, I think I don't know what the official numbers were, but I know in my campaign I knocked well over 10,000 doors.
Wow, that's amazing.
I mean, it was every day. That was the full-time job. I had my trucking company. I actually hired. I had 4 full-time drivers, and I had the truck that I was driving. I hired a 5th driver for that truck, and I stayed home because that was my job, was to win that election. And
I like the way you said that before too. It almost seems like you have to campaign full time these days in order to be able to win.
In a big race like that, yes. In a local race, in your county ward, in your school district ward, it's just in the evenings. But
yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, it's not as hard as people think. It's really
No,
not.
and I'm glad you said that too, because calling back to my experience when I ran for county board here, I mean, obviously it was against the incumbent Steve Doyle, who's been in the county board since the 80s.
Oh, sure.
And I would spend my lunch hour and
Yep.
every evening after work.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like full time Saturday, all day Saturday. And
Yep.
when the Packers weren't playing,
Yeah,
most of the day Sunday, but I would
Sunday's a little
never
touchy.
interrupt
Yep.
a Packer game. That's a good
That
way
is
to lose
good.
fast.
That's good policy right there. Yep.
No, but I guess my point is that I mean I came in within 144 votes of winning. I lost by 144 votes. That number
somebody
is seared
established
in
like
my
that.
memory.
Just like 697 for me.
Yes, it's funny how that works.
Yep.
But I mean 144
yeah.
votes, and then it was during my lunch hours,
Yep.
my evenings, and my weekends, and
Yep.
I came that close to winning.
Exactly. And that's what you got to do. And if you would run again, you could probably increase that and probably beat them.
Oh yeah, I have
You know what I mean?
every opportunity. Yeah, I think
Yep.
I am. I think I'm going to beat him this time.
Good. Good.
But,
Well, I'll
we got
come
a
down
couple
and
of
help.
months before I make it official.
Yeah. No, so you're thinking about it. Yeah, there's
Right.
nothing.
That's
yeah,
the
you're-
terminology, right?
That's the yes. You're considering it. You're
a
considering
study committee or
Yeah,
what is
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Exploratory or
it.
whatever.
Exploratory. There you go.
It's pretty obvious I'm going to run.
Yeah. Good. I'll come down and knock all the doors with you.
I would love that, my friend. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I used to say that I'm the Ferrari of door knocking. So,
Nice.
yep.
Nice. So, what are you mentioned the kinds of issues that people are talking about in Trempealeau County?
Yep.
What else are people interested in? Because we've got the governor's race coming up, obviously, and they
yes.
might want some assistance as well.
we've got the governor's race. People aren't talking about that too much around here. It's right now local issues are the focus.
Yeah.
For
Property
example,
taxes is big here, and law.
yes, that's exactly right. We do have a great law sheriff's office here. Sorry, my wife just got home, so the dog just went crazy.
Of course.
We have a great
authentic.
sheriff.
That's what podcasting
Yes,
is all about.
exactly. We have a great sheriff's department here, so there's really no complaints in that department from the locals.
Nice.
But the biggest issue right now is just the out of control spending and the increase in spending that the administrator just keeps proposing, and the new positions, and everybody thought that this was going to be she was going to be running this aspect of it. Well, now she wants to hire a finance director for $140,000 a year, and she's making $150,000. It's like, what do we hire you for?
Yeah,
And that
now
kind
you're
of thing.
doubling the salary
Yes.
that you have to pay for that kind of thing. That's interesting.
Exactly, and that, and then our school district, like for me in my area, the property taxes have gone through the roof, and a lot of it has to do with not just the county side, but the school district side. We've had, I want to say, almost 3 referendums in a row. Now, the first one, I got to say, I was on the school board for that. I was on the Whitehall school board. We had the opportunity to buy a piece of property that was directly connected to the school footprint, and it was the old Beaver Builders building. And we had the opportunity to turn that into the tech center with a very generous donation from the Wannock Foundation. So
Nice.
we had to borrow. This was a once in a lifetime opportunity to really improve all of our STEM programs.
Oh, nice.
So and with our school, the way it's situated, yeah, we have room to add on, but it would be taking away from something else. So this was a chance to purchase something that was already built. When you can buy something that's already built, it's way cheaper than
Yeah.
building.
Well, and then preparing for the future, like you're saying.
Oh,
I mean, that's
that's
a
exactly
big deal.
right. Exactly. So I was 100% in favor of that, and I'm actually proud of that. I go in there now, and it's beautiful. The kids, I mean, they're learning. I want to go in there and go learn about drones and learn about building circuits and all that kind of stuff. I want to go do that stuff too. So I'm proud of that. And then it just kept going. Well, now we need more for for operating expenses. And the last one was we had to purchase tablets for the AI learning for every student.
Come on.
Oh, I know. And I mean,
you don't need a tablet for every student,
right? So I mean, it's been a two-prong hit. I mean, I think we've lived in this house for 5 years, and our property taxes have gone up. They were, I want to say they were right around 4,100 for our property taxes when we first bought. Last year they were $5,800. That was up in 5 years. That was that increase in 5 years, and it's always sold well. For a $200,000 property, it's only a $300 a year increase. The $300 is nothing. Yeah, well, you add that 17 times going down the road from 3 different angles, it adds up quick.
Well, and the other thing too, there's a lot of folks out there who maybe they own their home and they keep paying the property. They keep renting it from the government, basically.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
and that is just not fair.
They
work their entire lives to get to the point where they're paid off, except they still have to pay that crazy.
You still have to have an income. Yep, you still have to have an income because the government technically owns it.
Yeah, it's
sad.
maddening. Well, and it's why I was really, I think it was Josh Shulman who said something about a property tax freeze. I remember when Governor Walker had done that. It was brilliant. It's like, okay, let's put a stop. Let's put a pause on this kind of thing.
Yes.
And see if there are smarter ways to work.
I mean, other states do it.
Exactly.
Other states do it. I'm in favor of a sales tax only, because then you're taxed on what you spend. That's your consumption, right? Not property tax or income tax. That's I don't think. I mean, obviously the income tax is part of the Constitution, but I would be all in favor of repealing that part of the Constitution.
Yeah. Well, a lot of states have gotten to other ways of funding their governments,
yes,
and I think
we
definitely can look into it.
Yep, it absolutely can be done. And the what worries me is we initiate a higher state sales tax in Wisconsin, but the rest of the taxes don't go anywhere. That's what I want to see. Let's get rid of the tax first before we add to a different tax. I don't trust them.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't know if you caught the news in the La Crosse Tribune, but the city of Onalaska now enacted a wheel tax, which is just ridiculous.
Let me tell you about wheel taxes. I had 18 of them rolling down the highway. Oh, man, that is the wheel tax. I mean, I had to keep track of every mile that I put on in every state. That is a wheel tax.
Oh, wow.
So, yep. So the residents are going to have to keep track of their mileage and
I didn't even know
pay
about
accordingly.
That. Well, the thing I thought about is that people from the city of Onalaska, they're just going to move into another community where they don't have to worry about that extra tax just because they own a car.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, so I'm not sure how that tax is set up. However, it is going that way. When you start implementing wheel taxes, it's another tax on how many miles you drive in that certain jurisdiction. And you have to file that.
And then, like you're saying, enforce it. How do you enforce it? And to your point, you spend a lot of time trying to track what miles you spend in which state. It just seems like such a bunch of BS to have to worry about that level of detail. And for what?
It is.
I mean, they say, and the thing that bothered me the most about the way the city of Onalaska did it is that they were saying how it will help the funding of road improvements. Well, What about the millions of dollars you spent on a facility that you didn't even need? Couldn't you have diverted the
Yeah.
funds from that into the roads if the
Yeah, I
roads
mean,
needed help? That's what your
yeah, makes
job
sense.
is.
Yep. That's exactly. Well, they don't think about that. That money's already spent elsewhere, right?
Well,
Ugh,
I think that's part of the problem is like there's this lockstep thinking. They don't
yeah.
think outside of the box.
No. Well, and most of the people that are elected, they're not business owners. They've never had to balance a budget or sign the front of a paycheck. They
Good
don't
point.
know, they don't know. That's the thing. It's the beauty and the curse of elected officials is you don't have to have any qualifications to get elected.
Oh, that's a great
There's
point. They don't have
there
to
is no
innovate. They don't have to think outside of the box. They don't have to figure out smarter ways
no
of working. I've been
no.
getting
They
into
just
some
have to fool
debates with
people.
friends about like these IT data centers that we're hearing about.
Hmm.
Like that's the 21st century economy.
Yes.
And I mentioned it on the podcast yesterday that it'd be
Yeah.
like telling the horse-drawn carriages, or telling automobile manufacturers
Yeah.
they have to
No.
slow down because we want
Yeah.
more horse-drawn carriages.
Yes. It's ridiculous. I don't I don't get who would be opposed to that sort of industry coming in. That is the future. I
It's
mean,
the
I
future.
remember I delivered in Phoenix last summer, early last summer before things went downhill. And I went right by that big chip plant, that superconductor plant that they're
Yeah.
building
Is it
out there.
NVIDIA, I
That's
think,
the
is down
future.
there?
I believe it is. Yeah, yeah. It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
But
Look,
that's
think
that's
about
where
all
we're
those
going.
jobs that are in that facility.
And Foxconn. I don't know what killed that, but that would have been huge.
Yeah, well,
I
and
mean,
I remember recently it sounded like Microsoft was planning to move in there. But then as I
mm,
was reading yesterday, maybe they're changing their mind because the political climate.
yeah, yeah. There's
People are
just
concerned about the power usage and the water usage, and it's like, okay, let's figure out a way to make it work because
right,
this is the
right.
future of our economy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, well, it's interesting that you say that because we had an Ashley plant here in Whitehall, and our our mayor and several of our city councilmen, Democrats, and never been business owners. One of them was a union guy. One of them was the mayor was a teacher. Nice guy personally. I mean, he was my teacher growing up, right? Nice guy personally. Um, the Ashley needed more power. They needed more electricity to flow in, and they wanted a discount rate for how much they're using. They refused. Um, Ashley called their bluff, packed up, closed the plant down. That's been 6, 7 years now.
Oh man, all
Yeah,
those jobs.
all those jobs, all those jobs were just they just vanished
It's
because
crazy.
because the leaders at the city had zero experience in what it's like in business
Yeah,
and zero forethought, right?
yeah,
And imagination and vision to see what's there and what's possible.
that's
So
it.
that's
That's
why
it.
we
It's the
need good
vision, the
people.
innovative ideas. They don't have
Yes.
it.
Yes. That's why we need good people and good free thinkers
Yeah.
in elected offices
Well, and
from the
changing
bottom
people
up.
out more frequently. Like I said
Hmm.
before, Steve Doyle has been in the
Ugh,
county board since the 1980s.
sure.
I don't think he's had a fresh idea since the 90s.
Oh, I'm sure not. I'm sure not.
So yeah, I mean, just getting fresh ideas, new people in there every few
Yeah,
years, that really is the way it works best.
it absolutely is. Well, and I'm sure you've heard of the theory of, or I don't know if it's the theory, but the idea of exponential knowledge growth, right? Like you and you're intelligent, I'm intelligent. You put our brains together, we are almost as double intelligent. Now you add a third person in, we're almost triple the intelligence and quadruple, and it just keeps going and going and going,
But I think it's even more than that. I think when you put the right team of people together, like you're saying, if you had 3 people, I think it's
Yep.
more than triple. I think the ideas that bounce
Yeah.
around, you
Yep.
end up getting even better ideas out of that.
Absolutely. Because everyone brings their perspective to the
And
to
then
the
you
equation.
kind of polish it all together until you
Yep.
craft. I mean, that's why elected office is so important, because
Well,
you
and
get
that's
all
why.
those different perspectives in there in the
Yes.
room talking to each other, and you end
Yep.
up with some remarkable solutions.
And that's why these boards are made up of multiple people. That's literally with whether that was the intent or not. I mean, I know the intent of the federal Congress that we have now was to slow things down and make things, but the what should happen and what used to happen is everyone would talk together and they would increase everyone's intelligence. Now, nobody talks to each other, and it just goes right. That intelligence potential is lost.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that, because that was another thing I mentioned on the podcast yesterday. It's like we're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
It's the way the culture has been over the last couple of years. It's like we're siloing ourselves.
Yeah.
And then the way I put it on the podcast, it probably could have thought of a better way. But like, we each get ourselves into these camps, these silos, and then we sort of brainwash each other with the same ideas instead
Right.
of talking to each other. So one of the
Yeah.
things, like when Vice President Vance was here, like as soon as that speech was over at the actual event, I was walking back to my truck, and I noticed like probably a half dozen protesters were out there. And I thought,
Yeah.
you know what, I'm going to go talk to them and just see
Yeah.
why they would take the time out of their job or not
Yep.
a job, take the time away from home, depending on if they're not even working. Some of them weren't, so I'm not going to go there, though.
Right. No judging.
But just
Yep.
to go talk to them and reach out and just have a better understanding of why they're there.
Right.
People aren't doing that anymore.
No.
It was kind of like what I called a Charlie Kirk moment. Let's just go
Yeah.
talk to people. Let's go talk to
Yep.
one another. Because if we
Yep.
stop doing that, then we get assassinations like we saw with Charlie Kirk.
Absolutely. Well, and the what people have gotten in a habit of doing, and social media has made this so much easier, is we've taken our ideas in as our identities, and there's
point.
people on our side that are just as guilty as the people on the left, right?
Yeah.
They think that what they believe is who they are, and that's what makes them who they are. And if you challenge that, you are insulting them, because that is their identity. That's what they believe. And then it's so easy to go out and just feed that identity.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Psychologically, we do not want our foundational beliefs challenged, because if we hold on to them so tightly, and if we find out that it's that something that we believe, it might not be true, it's a cascade effect, and then everything falls, everything crumbles. It is healthier for you when that opens up and that falls, and it allows you to truly open your mind. Like I've always said that I am open if someone has the facts that that proves me wrong. I will listen to them, and if it's solid proof and solid facts, I'd be an idiot not to change my mind.
Right on.
Right?
One of the things that I love about my job. One of the things I love about my job is I get to do these. I get to facilitate what we call retrospectives. So after every project, we get people from the software team, we get people from marketing, we get people from different business components, talk about a project. And that one of the first things I tell them in these meetings is, if we're not feeling a little bit uncomfortable by talking about some, important issues, some hard truths of things that we learned during this project, if we're not feeling a little bit uncomfortable, then we're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
The whole point is to get a little bit uncomfortable. What did we screw up? How can we do better next time? If we don't identify where we're wrong, we're never going to grow.
Exactly. Well, it's the same with church. If you're sitting in a pew of a church and you feel comfortable and happy and nothing ever convicts you, you're in the wrong church. Because we're all guilty of something,
Exactly.
right?
The sinner and the saint. We all have it.
Exactly. We all do. And if your church is not talking about the things that apply to your life and how to make it better, then you're just there to feel good. And that's not growth.
Yeah,
That's
you're
not
not growing.
spiritual
You're
growth.
not
Yep.
improving. That's
Exactly.
a great point. I mean,
Yeah.
like every aspect of life. I mean, holy cow, parents.
Mm-hmm.
When we're raising our kids,
Yep.
we don't know what the hell we're doing. But you embrace the
Right.
embrace the unknown, and through love and commitment, you just make it work.
Exactly. Yep. That's
No,
exactly
it's,
right.
this is good stuff, man. Any
sure.
last words? What's a good way for people to get a hold of you out there in Trempealeau County?
Find us on the Facebook page. I believe we have a new page now that is public. It was a private page before, but now it's a public page. So Republican Party of Trempealeau County on Facebook would be the easiest way to get a hold of us. Sign up for our email newsletter. My wife puts those together. They're gorgeous. They talk about everything that's going on. We have great pictures. I mean, she is on top of it on what's going on in Trempealeau County and the surrounding areas. So,
Awesome.
yeah, find us on Facebook and hit us up at I believe it's trempgop.org.
All right, sounds
And
good.
sign up
my
for the
friend.
newsletter.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Thank you so much for your time here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Anytime.
You bet.
I love it.
Hi, thanks for checking out this episode. If you like this content, then please visit cooleyconservatives.com and click the Buy Me a Coffee option to leave us a tip. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Truth Social. Oh, and you can get our content in your email inbox once a week by subscribing at cooleyconservatives.com. Thanks again. Take care and God bless.
I